check. Ooh, child. This traffic. Lord. Let's see if anybody's gonna give me the opportunities to go across the road. Walk one, everybody. Across the road, there is a whole barrier and the line of traffic that is going down, and I'm scared. Like I don't want to have to go out there, but I might have to go out there on these cars. Jesus, y'all see me trying to get by? Dang. But what going? Thank thank you, sir. Cause child, these people were not gonna let me go across the road. Uh, I hate when they're doing work on the road in the early morning. You gotta go to work. People dropping off their kids at school, and you wanna block the road, knowing that it's gonna be a lot of traffic. I mean, what happened to yesterday? There was no school yesterday. Y'all could have done this yesterday. But anyways, y'all. Please remember to like this video, share the link to my channel if you feel like the content needs some more crowd. Subscribe if you have not done so as yet. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, now called X, at How I See It, and on TikTok at How I See It TV. So I wanted to do this real quick because I'm like, what, maybe 4 or 5 minutes away from work. Good morning, Miss Cece. Good morning, Mama V. So I was watching Shamea's video yesterday, and she did a video with her mom, and she was talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta episode, and she just talked about how heartbroken she was that Portia was given some hateration vibe when she was playing her song. She was also heartbroken that, Portia's mom, Miss Diane, would even think that Shamea telling Portia what, the girls were saying about her, that was coming from a bad place. And I really, really feel like Shamea is heartbroken for real because I think she considers Portia to be like one of her sisters, like one of her really good friends. And honestly, when Shamea was playing the song at the table during the episode, and Portia was like, "Girl, that's not you. Girl, that's Drew. That's not your song." And then she went to the confessionals and she said, "Well, the reason she was saying that it was Drew's because it sounded so good." And I'm like, Portia, that does not even make it any better. That doesn't make it any better. You thinking that your friend from childhood, who you know is a good singer, couldn't produce a song with vocals that sound as good as Drew's. I thought that was nasty. I thought that was Portia being a hater. And I don't know how they're going to get past this, especially, as Shamea is probably going to be watching, the season and seeing certain things that are being said that, you're not privy to until you watch the season, and you're seeing the scenes and you're seeing some of the things that was being said. And I thought it was super sad that everybody else at the table, they were rocking out to Shamea's song, they were celebrating it, and her one friend at the table that she's known since she was a child was the only one being a hater. And I don't understand Miss Diane's opinion on, oh, be, careful of the person that carries the bone. I would expect, I would expect that if my friend is in the company of some people that I don't know, and they're speaking badly about me. She defended me in the moment. She's inviting these same people to her party. I would expect my good friend to give me the heads up like, hey, I'm inviting some people to my party. You don't know them, but I know them very well, but I just want to let you know they were saying some stuff about you. And I don't want you to ever walk into a room feeling like it's a setup, feeling like as your friend, I'm allowing people to talk about you and I never tell you. So I don't understand why Miss Diane was saying, Portia needed to be careful of Shamea. I think Shamea did right by Portia as a friend. Hi, Auntie Linda. Good morning. Hi, Moonchild. Moonchild says Shamia snaked Portia first, and I can't unsee it. I like Shamia, but she snaked Portia first. But how, Moonchild? Tell me how, because now I'm thinking about it, and I don't know. Portia has done some really shisty things to Shamia. First, it was not wanting to attend her wedding in Kenya, saying that, oh, she had an illness and she couldn't fly all the way to Kenya. But girl, you out here flying all the way to Ghana and Nigeria and all these other places on the motherland, on the continent. Candy was at Shamia's wedding. Tiny was at Shamia's wedding, but her childhood best friend didn't show up. And not only that, Portia, you know, getting chummy with Phaedra while Phaedra was spreading rumors about Shamia and her relationship with telling lies that Shamia had an inappropriate relationship with Candy and Todd. I mean, Portia Portia was doing a lot of things to Shamia that Shamia forgave now. So I don't know, Moonchild. You gonna have to let me know, sis, how Shamia snaked Portia first. Miss Cece said, didn't Shamia turn on Portia years ago in favor of Candy? Also, why were the girls so comfortable? Ooh, that's a good question, Miss Cece. That's a good question. Because you know what? That's a good point too. Because I'm always of this opinion. I'm always of the opinion. Hey, Nanny of the Maroons. I'm always of the opinion that my energy when it comes to my friends should be such that if you have a negative thing to say about my friend, because of my presence, you won't even say it. Like, you should look at me and say, nah, that's her friend. Don't even say nothing bad about her friend in front of her, because she gonna bite your head off. So I can see that, Miss Cece, like, why were they so comfortable, bringing up anything negative about Portia in the presence of Shamia, knowing that they are friends? Like, I get it's also a reality TV show, but Shamia should have probably shut that. It shouldn't have been several comments. It should have been one little comment, a piece of a comment, and Shamia should have been like, what we're not gonna do is that. Moving on. But it was a whole conversation. It was a whole kiki. So I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. All right. Next thing I want to talk about too is Shamia's mom also feeling heartbroken. She was upset about what Miss Diane said about Shamia. But Shamia's mom was like, I'm not gonna hold on to it. I prayed about it, and she's not holding on to it. So let's see. Shamia says there's more to come. There's more to come on the season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're gonna see how her and Portia got to where they are now. I mean, we're seeing the start of it. Shoot, we're seeing the start of it. Portia's reaction to Shamia's song, I think, is probably like one little thing that started this, domino effect, and we're probably gonna see more and more. I think it's the song thing. This is what I think is gonna happen, y'all. This is what I think is gonna happen. Next week, we're going to see Keely or Kelly and Britt and Shamea having a sit down because we saw them eating. And I feel like one of those two women are going to say to Shamia, girl, your friend Portia was hating on your song. She don't show up for you the way you show up for her. She's jealous of you, blah, 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 blah. And that's going to put like, a little, a little bug in Shamia's head, and she's gonna start thinking about like all the things Portia has done to her throughout the years, and then her and Portia are gonna have a sit down about it, and it's gonna be Portia repeating, her mom's sentiments that, be careful of Shamia, and then it's gonna be Shamia thinking, girl, why were you hating on me playing my song, and all the things that happened with Candy and Phaedra and all of that. And I think some little resentments is going to resurface, and this is where we're going to see their friendship fall apart. You said Candy put, oh wait, I lost it. Candy put the divisiveness between Portia and Shamia. I love Candy too, but I can't unsee it. I always feel like Candy is a little bit of an instigator. I always feel that way. That I can't unsee either, Moonchild. um Nanny of the Maroon said, I'm so fed up with the new season of RHOA. No genuine storylines, just pure base. Well, I feel like Kelly's storyline is the most authentic this season. And here's why. Because she is taking us from start to finish. Well, not start to finish. She's taking us on a journey of her divorce, is what I meant to say. She is taking us on a journey of her business, and I think there's so much to her story with her soon to be ex-husband, or I don't know if they're divorced right now, and I can't wait to learn more. I can't wait to learn more. But out of everybody, I feel that Kelly would probably be the most authentic when it comes to a personal story. I'm sorry, I have a family member who is everyone's best friend, like Shamia, but she coast from group to group, not really holding down each bestie to the other. You can't be everybody's bestie. That is so true, Missy. You can't. You can, because at some point something is going to happen where you can't be on the fence. And if you are Switzerland in every situation, then you're truly not a friend to anybody. That's how I see it. Hi, TFP. All right, last thing, Kenya versus Brit. I have never been a team twirl. I've never been the biggest Kenya Moore fan. I will say that right now. Let that be my first statement. I've never been the biggest Kenya Moore fan. I started liking Kenya a little bit more after she did more, no pun intended. um After she did the Real Housewives girls trip, I started to see her in a different light, and that made me like her a little bit more. But I was still not like her biggest fan. I wasn't Team Twirl or anything. But when it comes to this situation between Kenya and Britt, Kenya, I'll give you this. I will say this. You were very, very, very wrong for, even if those pictures were publicly available, it was still wrong for you to go and put those pictures on a poster to blast this young lady because she threatened you with a weapon. I feel like everybody is on your side and would have still been on your side had you not done that. But I understand. You didn't feel protected, and you wanted this girl to know, listen, I have your number, I have your address, you are a 304, and you are definitely a peasant that can't come for the queen. But you took it a step too far. Britt, you have been trying it since we first saw you and Kenya interact, at Shamea's party. And people are like, no, Kenya was coming for her first. Da, 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 da. I'm like, really? Asking her about her ring? That's not coming for somebody. And then Britt is going to confess in Sunday's episode that she had some preconceived notions about Kenya. She already came in as a fan who's been watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, not a Kenya Moore fan, and she felt like she was going to come in and she was going to humble Kenya. And Kenya was humbling her at the bank party. Kenya came in, she hugged this young woman. And right off the bat, this girl's gonna be like, that wasn't a real hug. Like you were looking for a moment. Then you asked the question and Kenya answered, and that still wasn't good enough for you. You were reaching. And so Kenya does what Kenya always does, and is she throws her little shade. And girl, if you've been a fan of Real Housewives of Atlanta, then guess what? That little shade that Kenya threw that Kenya threw at you, you should have been prepared to clap back. But instead, you went ratchet. And all of a sudden it's you got pistols and you got whips and you got this and you calling for your husband and it's all threatening. And I don't understand if Kenya is being penalized for blowing up some pictures of you, of Britt, that was already publicly available. Why was Britt also not penalized for threatening another cast member with a weapon? Like, I don't know any work environment where I show up for work and my coworker threatens me with a weapon, talking about where's my husband, all of that, and the HR department wouldn't be saying, okay, we're going to suspend you pending further investigation. So Kenya says that she did what she did because she felt threatened. And I guess Bravo or Truly or whoever the HR people were, they weren't doing anything about it. So she took matters in her own hand. But Kenya, you took it too far. I think you could have still, you could have still talked about Brit's 304 pass without the pictures. People probably would still believe you because the pictures are publicly out there. So I think after next week's episode, we're not gonna see Kenya anymore. But I hope to see Kenya at the reunion because watching the episode play out, Britt was clearly the problem from the start. All right, y'all, I gotta read y'all's comments and go. Um, I said good morning to Miss Tia P. Moonchild says a friend to everyone is a friend to no one. Team Brit. Oh my God, Moonchild. Moonchild, we gotta talk about this. Team Brit, I don't like Kenya. I feel her time has come to be gone. I just can't unsee everything she has done. Well, let's compartmentalize a little bit, Moonchild. Let's leave the Kenya of the past over there and just keep it to everything that we've seen happen from episode 1 to 3. Who's wrong? Who's right? And in this regard, Brit is in the wrong. Brit is in the wrong. Miss Cece, not you are not a Kenya Moore fan either, Lord. She should have called the police like she called the police on Portia, Lord. Well, you got a point there. If you felt that threatened, Kenya, you should have called the authorities. Moonchild has a point. Not Brit going around threatening to actually whip black women. What in the listen? She did the same to Kenya that Kenya has always done to others. She threatened Portia to punch her in the face. She threatened to knock Phaedra's teeth. Lord. Kenya was out here threatening people. Well, she didn't threaten them with a pow pow now. I wish Kenya had taken the act like a Karen route instead of posting the pics. She should have played up feeling unsafe. Yes. Yes, Miss Cece. I agree. I agree 100%. Um I also feel production used the RP incident to force high salary Kenya off the show. That's what it's starting to feel like too. That's because I don't see why Kenya couldn't remain on this the entire for the entire season, so that we could see everything play out, so that we could see, how they resolved everything. Because I mean, we sat and watched Phaedra, well, not Phaedra, we sat and watched Portia accuse Candy of RP, of wanting to drug her and bring her down to a dungeon. And we saw all of that play out down to the reunion. They didn't kick Portia off the show. So I don't see why they couldn't have just allowed everything to play out and then say, well, Kenya, for the next season, you're going to be benched. um, I like Kenya, but she was trying to hit back harder and it backfired. She should have just called the popo. I felt like Kenya's response to Britt was very like, it was very it was very mediocre. She has said that peasant line over and over and over again. She said it to Portia. Like, Kenya has used that line several times throughout the seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is why I felt like Britt could have easily clapped back, like, peasants can't come for queens. Like, I am a queen. I am all that and a bag of chips, like something. But I think you probably have to be a little bit more like quick with it to be able to clap back at something so small. Like, Kenya, a queen of what? Miss USA from the 90s? Girl, bye. Like, something. I don't know, but she could have clapped back with something that did not include weapons now. Moonshot is over Kenya, y'all. She wants Kenya to go. She doesn't care what's going on. She said, Kenya needs to be out of here. They kept Portia because she is the sex symbol, and Candy extra activities were questionable at the time. Plus, they didn't want to get sued behind the lie CA started allegedly and improvised, but was it really a lie? I don't know. Candy said it's a lie, so we gonna work with that. We gonna work with that, okay? And Candy turned that whole scandal into money, because she had the whole dungeon tour and all of that. The incident with Candy was a long time ago. Bravo can't allow this mess nowadays. Well, that's true too. And plus, Bravo has so much scandal, so many lawsuits. I, so I get why they had to get Kenya up out of there. They had to get, but they're using her to push the season, so might as well they had given her, a confessional until whatever episode she'll no longer be there. Yeah, I love that for Candy too. Like, I am not a fan of Candy, the reality TV star. I tell people that all the time. I did not like Candy, the reality TV star, but Candy, the businesswoman, Candy, the singer, Candy, the producer. I like that version of Candy. I don't think Candy is good on reality TV. But y'all, this was longer than I wanted it to be. This was supposed to be like a 15-minute live, but it turned into almost half hour. So I'm gonna thank y'all for being here with me. Replay gang, please remember to like the video, share the link to the channel if you feel like the content needs some more crowd. Subscribe if you have not done so as yet. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, now called X, at How I See It, and on TikTok at How I See It TV. Until my next live or my next video, I will see some of y'all somewhere in these YouTube streets. So walk good. Have a great Tuesday. Bye.